Welcome everyone, and this is my little GPS test between the Suunto Spartan Trainer Wrist HRs, which you're looking at right now in this video, versus the Garmin Fenix 5S, and that might seem like kind of a weird competition because they're not really in the same league. The Fenix 5S is kind of the premier watch of the Garmin lineup, while this particular model for Suunto is more their entry-level GPS watch. But they have a lot of things in common. They're both really good hiking watches, and that's what I was looking for. And I actually purchased the Suunto first as a hiking watch. I wanted something that I could navigate with. And right there, I'm pointing towards the GPS antenna. That's where the GPS resides. One thing I do like about it is that even though it does have that GPS sticking out, you can still replace the straps. So it's not built into the strap. And a lot of watches have that kind of built into the straps, and then what do you do with the watch when if the band breaks? Then you have to throw it away. So I do like how Suunto handled that. And then for the Fenix, this is of course the Fenix 5S I'm looking at. This is a really nice watch. This is the watch that I wear pretty much on a daily basis. It's just a nice size. I think it has a nice look to it, kind of a premium look to it. It's sporty, but not too sporty. And it's definitely kind of geared, I think, for women, but a lot of men like it too. A lot of men like to just wear watches that aren't, the size of a dinner plate every day. And some of those hiking watches can get pretty big and kind of pretty heavy, so they're not something you want to wear every day of the week. But some men do, so do what you want to do. But yeah, the Fenix, I kind of always refer to this as kind of the Swiss Army knife of sports watches because it does everything. And while I'm just going to be showing you a GPS test in this, just keep in mind that this thing does so much, and it does a lot of things very, very well. And the Suunto as well, it does a lot of things too, besides just hiking. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be testing in this, and I hope you enjoy this and that it's helpful to you. And this is one of the first tests that I did. This is just a 1 mile hike that I created in Garmin Connect and that I synced to the Fenix. So I was following along on the Fenix. The Fenix was telling me when I needed to turn and when I needed to turn back. So basically on this, I was just going to be walking up this path a half a mile and then turning around at that half-mile point and then walking back. So this is going to be a good little test of distance estimate and between both of the watches. And also, I really like the navigational cues that the Fenix gave me. That part of it was really nice, and I'll be showing that to you in future videos. But it did a good job. And here's the results of that hike. This is back in Garmin Connect. So, of course, this is the Fenix. This is the path that the GPS said that I took. And as you can see where I started there at that little green arrow, and I walked up about a half a mile up through here, through the trees. Well, I wasn't actually in the trees. I was on the path. In that area, right up here, did a good job. This is kind of more of a clear area, especially on the right side. There isn't too many trees right there. So it followed along the path really nicely there. Once I got into the thicker woods, it struggled a little bit more there. This area's always been challenging for pretty much every watch that I've tested on it. It does challenge at these trees, especially once the leaves get on them. That'll be interesting to see what the difference is then. But here in the open, it did a much better job. And this is where I stopped, right down here. Yeah, let's see how the Suunto did. But first I want to show you the path here. And this is the area or part of the trail where the Fenix seems like it struggled a lot more. Of course, you can see here I am. There's trees on both sides of me, and on the right side there is a hill, and then there's some houses up there that you can't see. So there are some obstructions, and this is where it did kind of struggle more. It wasn't as accurate as it was in the more open areas, of course, as to be expected. But I want to see how the Suunto handled this. And here's this same walk as told by the Suunto. And I really love the Moves Count website. This is what you use for Suunto. This is where you go to view the results of your hikes and where you can create routes and all that good stuff. But I really like it. You can zoom in a lot more than you can in one of the watches. That was the Suunto that just vibrated, by the way. I must have got a notification. But anyway, with this, I can really zoom in on the path, and it looks like it followed it really nicely. I'm not seeing too much variation between the two paths, between me walking up and walking back. It doesn't have me going out to the trees like the Garmin did. And then it's following along here really nicely in the clear areas too. So, yeah, I'd have to say that the Suunto won this one. It was more accurate. And during this particular test, I was also running Map My Hike on my phone. This is an application like Map My Run. It's basically the same thing. It's just called Map My Hike. So I wanted to test the GPS on my phone against the watches and see how well they both performed against it, and I guess how well it performed against the watches, I guess. But this is the results of that, and as you can see, it didn't follow exactly along the path either, and that's kind of true of GPS. And that's kind of how it behaves, even with the handheld units that I have. I mean, they're not absolute perfection, so you really can't expect that. But of course, if they're giving you really goofy, way out there results, then yeah. Or just not even connecting at all, just losing connection, then obviously that's not very good GPS. But here it has me in the open area. It followed along pretty well, but here it has me kind of levitating over the creek right here. And I didn't do that. I don't have those powers. I wish I did. And then here it kind of struggled a little bit, not as much as the Fenix did. And I would say it probably behaved a lot like the Suunto. I don't know. Maybe the Suunto outperformed it. I think it did, actually, especially here in this open area. Yeah, the Suunto did a lot better job right there. So far I'm impressed with the Suunto. We'll see if that holds up. And this is part of the second test. This one I made more challenging. I wanted to create a path that there wasn't a trail, where it wasn't obvious where I needed to turn. Of course, obviously, if I'm following along a road or a sidewalk or even a hiking path, I pretty much know where to go. But with this, I just kind of made up some random path here in this open field, and I wanted to see if I could follow the navigational prompts that the Fenix was giving me, and be able to follow along with this. And yeah, it's definitely a lot more challenging than the other ones, and it was fun to do too. Just a good excuse to get outdoors, really, but it was fun. And real quickly, I just wanted to show you the entire course that I created, or route. And it's about 1¼ miles long, and following through some different kind of landscapes here. And here's some video of just some of the different areas that I was walking through. This is near a wetland. On one side, though, there is a stand of trees, kind of a little forest. And the other side is a tall grass prairie. And then farther off to the right there is water for the wetland. And this particular path was a gravel path. This is one that I walked out to an overlook, and then I walked back down it again, and then continued on my course. And in this, I'm just comparing the distance between the two. Both of them were really close. I think the Fenix had said I'd walked 0.21 miles, and the Suunto said 0.22. So really, really close at this point. And this is another part that I walked in. This is much more open area. This is the tall grass prairie. This is in late February when I'm taking this video. And in the summer, this is going to be over my head. It's kind of neat to walk through it then. And then this is just another part where I am actually walking through a stand of trees and on a muddy trail. Actually, I kind of took an alternative route there. And again, this is just a view of the original course that I created. In the blue line here, it shows that original course. And this red line shows the course after I had hiked it. Of course, this is the Fenix. And I just want to see how well I actually followed along this little winding path that I created. And I didn't do too bad. Yeah, I didn't follow it perfectly, but I was able to follow the navigational prompts on the watch, which uses both GPS and the compass. And sometimes I turned a little too soon, sometimes I turned a little too late, but all in all, I think I did okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have been totally lost. I think I would have made my way out of there if I had to. Of course, that really wasn't too much of a test, but still. Let's take a look at the rest of it. Walking through the prairie here, it did a really good job. It just right along that path. Again, this is the Fenix that we're looking at. And then through the forest there, through that little wooded trail, it has me walking a little bit off the path. And sometimes it's kind of hard to judge with this. You don't know how accurate the map is, as far as where it's judging the trail is. And then me walking along the road, did a good job. And here we are. This is the Suunto. Let's take a look what the Suunto said. All right, I want to zoom in here. There we go. That really shows up really nicely. Okay, well, it shows me the two paths there going up and down this little overlook trail. On the way to the overlook, it kind of has me over here into the trees. So not too good there. But on the way back, it has me right on that path. Very accurate right there. So it looks like it kind of goofed up a little bit there early on in the test, early on in the hike, and then it really locked onto my position once I got to that overlook area. So that's kind of interesting. I'll have to do this test again someday and see what it does. But let's take a look at the rest of it. Okay. Here it is where I'm walking through the tall grass prairie, and it did a really nice job there. Very similar to the Fenix. And then through the forest, well, it looks like it nailed that. I mean, right along that path. Yeah. And then on the road, that's exactly how I walked. I crossed the road completely there, and I stood on that one side, and I walked on that side. So, and that's exactly what it's showing. So it followed along very well. Once it locked onto my position, it looks like it did a wonderful job. And in this area, this is a little kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to tell how accurate it is in this area, but it looks like it's very similar to what the Garmin shows. There's the original path, and that's what it shows I walked. Okay. Now let's take a look at the distance estimate. The Garmin, the Fenix said I walked 1.31 miles, and the Suunto says 1.32. So wow, really close. Very, very close. That's kind of interesting. Well, I hope that was helpful to you in just seeing the difference in how both of these watches perform. Just the GPS accuracy. Again, that's all I was really testing in this video. There's other things to consider with both these watches. I would say that for the heart rate accuracy, that edge I would have to give to the Fenix. The Suunto can be a little erratic on that. But for the GPS accuracy, yeah, I would give the edge to the Suunto. I think it does a little bit better. Even though it only has GPS. The Fenix 5S has GPS and GLONASS, so it has access to more satellites. But just that larger antenna on the Suunto, I think, makes all the difference. It just performs better, I think, in most cases. But still, GPS, once in a while, it's going to do goofy things, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But yeah, I'm going to be taking both these out on hikes and individually, and I'm going to be showing you how to use them on a hike, because there is a little bit of a learning curve, and also it's just a good excuse for me to go out there and have some fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful, and I will catch you the next time. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you like.